We live in an era that confuses visibility with actual power. We've been led to believe that viral campaigns, catchy slogans, and highly visible protests translate to systemic change. But this is the trap of aesthetics. Liberation requires the concrete ownership of the structures that govern your life, reaching far beyond the limits of simply being seen by a system. Look at the physical and economic landscape around us. It was never neutral. It was deliberately engineered by external forces to extract value. Massive industrial footprints like this one were designed to consolidate control and wealth far outside the communities that labored within them. As long as we are merely trying to survive inside a machine designed, owned, and operated by someone else, genuine freedom is impossible. That creates a vacuum. When a community lacks structural sovereignty, it is forced to live in a state of constant reaction, always responding to the latest crisis, never actually governing its own future. To reverse engineer this imbalance, we are implementing a systems-based framework called Structural Nationalism 2.0. It moves us away from isolated individual survival and toward a rigid, engineered network. Because power is never an individual trait. Power is collective, intentional, and strictly structural. We have to stop being passive consumers. That means transitioning our energy from protest alone to the hard work of writing policy and taking physical ownership of our neighborhoods. To erect a permanent institution, we need a specific blueprint of power. Self-governance requires tangible mechanisms, starting from the ground up. The first pillar is land and housing. We have to remove our physical land from a volatile, speculative market and place it directly under community control. If we don't own the ground we stand on, we don't control our future. The second pillar is legal and civic power. Instead of merely reacting to laws handed down to us, we are actively training policy leaders to shape, write, and enforce our own governance. Without controlling the physical ground and the laws that govern it, there is no foundation to build on. Once the foundation is set, we build the engine. The third pillar is economic power. We must transition our communities from a state of constant economic consumption to self-funded production and asset ownership. The fourth pillar is education. We have to control our own knowledge systems and design the curriculum that trains our minds for leadership. Controlling how our children learn is a required step for survival. It ensures tomorrow's leaders understand how to wield the tools we build today. True independence requires an internal economy that is strong enough to fully fund these knowledge systems, sustaining the movement over the long term. The fifth and final pillar is protection and wellness. Community healing, physical safety, and mental wellness are not secondary benefits. They are core requirements of governance. To bind these pillars together, we will aggressively use every structural tool available. Nonprofits, cooperatives, trusts, and AI systems serve as the mortar that locks this framework into place. And this structure has to be built systematically, block by block, school by school, institution by institution. When all 5 pillars operate together, a community stops begging for equality from the outside and begins exercising actual governance from the inside. The future requires a specific focus: policy over protest, ownership over visibility, and structure over symbolism. We are claiming the unapologetic right to shape and govern our own world, an act of total self-determination. NCDC operates as a permanent movement of builders, a collective of organizers and strategists designed for endurance. We must physically build the exact structures we were historically denied, and we must build them strong enough to be passed forward to the next generation. Let the foundation be laid. Let the structure rise.